Palma's Old Town sprawls out into the rear of the famous cathedral, built in the 13th century, but not completed until 1601. Builders, eh? Nothing ever changes. Like many other medieval European cities, Palma's Old Town, or El Casco Antiguo, features a disorientating spaghetti-like network of slim, shady alleys, lanes and corridors that meander and weave between tall, tightly packed townhouses, churches and courtyards, many dating to the 17th or 18th century. Today, and with David Bowie's Goblin King as our spiritual guide, we're going to venture into this architectural labyrinth, starting from here, the Cathedral Esplanade, which looks out over the Parc de la Mar to Palma Bay beyond. We'll then choose an alleyway to plunge into and see where it takes us. And if my experience of aimlessly wandering these back streets is anything to go by, the best case scenario is that I end up exactly where I started. The worst case scenario? Well, that's that I'm found in some doorway sometime next year, looking like Robinson Crusoe because I've eaten my clothes to survive. In true carry-on fashion, it was time to enter the cathedral's back passage. Despite having Jareth with his glam metal hair watching over me, I knew there was still a high probability I'd never make it out of this maze alive. After turning only one corner, I was pleasantly surprised to find myself at the Bishop's Garden, a charming natural space owned by the Diocese of Majorca. Sadly, the Bishop isn't actually allowed to come to his own garden because it's not on a diagonal line. Careering downhill on a bike with dodgy brakes, by the time I realised I was at the city's Moorish Arab baths, I was already past them. You can visit the baths most days by paying a small entrance fee, and don't forget to show up in your swimming costume and flip-flops. No one's bathed here in about 900 years, so it'll be super funny for all the other visitors. So much for getting hopelessly lost in the labyrinth. After only a few minutes, I had already emerged on the medieval city wall to the south of the Old Town. The Dalt Morada, as it's known, runs alongside the Parc de la Mar, passing in front of the cathedral and onwards to the serene gardens of the Almadina Palace. The chunkier section of the wall is one of my favourite spots to grab a siesta in the sun, although I rarely do fall asleep, as I've always got the story of Humpty Dumpty in the forefront of my mind. My delicate bottom had had enough of biking over cobbles and potholes on an ill-fitting saddle for the time being, so I took to the streets on foot after carefully noting the bicycle's GPS coordinates so I could return it to my girlfriend. This change of strategy proved to be crucial in achieving the expected result. Getting completely lost in an area I should technically know pretty well because I live in it. Now I think we are getting some... This way, I'm pretty sure it's this way. It's a 50-50, let's go that way. I have been living here for a number of years, but it doesn't get much easier, to be honest, once you get lost in the back streets. I think 10 years in I'll have the confidence to just move around with conviction. It was clear that continuing on foot and in jeans too tight for a man of my age would end in almost certain death by chafing, so navigating back to the bike to explore the even more confusing network of back streets around La Rambla and La Lonja seemed like the right move. If I was mostly joking about not being able to find my way around my own actual neighbourhood, I do frequently get lost down here. I've no idea how many birthdays, weddings and funerals I've missed because I decided to take a shortcut through some lane only to emerge from the other side in Mallorca. La Llotja, centred around Plaza de la Drassana, is home to Palma's 15th century trading exchange. These days, it's a cultural centre, and it's worth popping your head in to look at the amazing twisting columns and vaulted roof. With my stomach rumbling and needing a pee, it was time to escape the labyrinth by following my nose for multi-million euro pleasure boats. From there, it was only a short ride back to the edge of Parc de la Mar and an energetic hike up the cathedral stairs to reach my starting point, back on the esplanade. I had come full circle without having to call search and rescue, and David Bowie hadn't helped one sodding bit. That's all for today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Also, don't forget to subscribe. It's completely free. You'd be crazy not to. I've got lots more videos from Mallorca and places further afield coming soon. Have a great day, everyone. Check you later.